This is Las Vegas, a city carved into the Mojave Desert, surrounded by mountains and dust. And that's exactly what it was when it came to professional sports. A desert. For decades, Las Vegas was one of the largest cities in America without a major pro team. And it's not because leagues overlooked it, it's because they actively avoided it. With deep ties to gambling, Vegas was considered too risky. Team owners didn't like the optics, league commissioners didn't want the headlines, and while other cities campaigned hard for expansion and relocating franchises, Las Vegas sat in the sidelines. Until suddenly, it wasn't on the sidelines at all. Today, the NHL, NFL, and WNBA each find themselves thriving in the desert, and Major League Baseball isn't far behind. Sin City, once off limits, has now become the market everyone wants in on. But how on earth did that happen? It's because Las Vegas didn't follow the usual blueprint. It skipped tradition and instead leaned into timing, spectacle, rapid growth, and a business model no other city could offer. And it didn't happen slowly. Vegas catapulted itself into the sports world. Whether or not that momentum turns into lasting success is still an open question, but its rise offers a glimpse into where professional sports is headed to next. Before Las Vegas became a sports destination, it was solely an entertainment machine. It had the lights, the crowds, the hotels, and the cash, and it was where people came to party, gamble, and disappear. But for all of its entertainment power, Las Vegas was never taken seriously by the broader world of professional sports. The fear of gambling scandals ran deep, going all the way back to point shaving in college basketball and the Black Sox scandal in baseball. The city wasn't just home to sports betting, it was sports betting. And for most league commissioners, that alone was reason enough to keep the city off the table. But gambling wasn't the only concern. The city was seen as too transient, filled with tourists and short-term residents while missing the things leagues normally count on, like corporate sponsors, steady season ticket holders, and a loyal fan base. Simply put, Las Vegas didn't check the right boxes. Now keep in mind that there were sports in Vegas, but they weren't the kind leagues were building around. The University of Nevada, Las Vegas basketball had its moment in the early 90s, winning a national title and briefly turning the city into a college hoops hotspot. Boxing and UFC events regularly packed MGM Grand, but these were marquee events, not franchises, which meant there were practically no home teams to follow year after year, no sports identity to build on. By every traditional metric, Las Vegas simply didn't fit the mold. It lacked the grassroots sports culture and the local infrastructure that leagues looked for. So for decades, they kept their distance. The irony though, is that everything leagues once saw as a risk would eventually become part of what made Las Vegas so attractive. But at the time, it was just a city of bright lights without any teams to call its own. That perception started to shift in the 2010s. Not because Las Vegas reinvented itself, but because the rest of the sports world began to change. The NHL placing a team in Vegas in 2017 was the first major sign that leagues were warming up to Sin City. But what really accelerated the change was the legalization of sports betting across the country. Once confined to just Nevada, gambling was starting to become mainstream. In 2018, a Supreme Court case led by New Jersey opened the door for states nationwide to legalize sports betting. And suddenly, it wasn't just a Vegas thing. It was everywhere. Instead of keeping their distance, leagues leaned in. They signed deals with sportsbooks and added betting lounges inside stadiums. And to add to that, mobile wagering pushed things even further. Fans could now place bets from the seat of their couch. So what once felt like a threat was now a revenue stream. The fear of corruption that had kept Vegas off limits was replaced by a lucrative financial opportunity. And in this new climate, Las Vegas no longer looked like a liability. It looked like an advantage. But legal betting alone wasn't enough. What made Las Vegas truly viable for pro sports was its booming population. Between 1990 and 2020, the Las Vegas metro area nearly tripled in size, growing from around 850,000 to over 2.7 million residents. That long-term growth is transformative. Las Vegas went from being an entertaining desert outpost to one of the largest metro areas in western United States. A big reason for that was lifestyle. Nevada's lack of state income tax, coupled with relatively affordable housing and year-round sunshine, made Las Vegas especially attractive for people fleeing the high costs of places like California. Retirees, remote workers, and young families were all lured by the promise of more for less. This population surge turned into settlement. Suburbs like Henderson and North Las Vegas became full-fledged communities with schools, shopping districts, and infrastructure. The image of Vegas primarily being a transient party town began to fade, and it was replaced by something leagues hadn't seen before: a stable, livable market. And that changed the math for professional teams. Because a larger, more permanent population meant there would be more reliable ticket sales, more corporate partnerships, and stronger media markets. But beyond economics, it also meant something cultural. Sports teams don't just want people. They want residents, fans who put down roots, follow every game, raise kids, and pass team loyalty from one generation to the next. In previous decades, Las Vegas couldn't offer that, but by the 2010s, it could. Obviously, tourism would always be a welcome bonus, but now, Vegas became a real home base, one that didn't need to be imagined anymore. It just needed teams to show up, and that's exactly what happened next. In 2017, the NHL did something no other major league had dared to try. It gave Las Vegas a franchise.
The NHL unanimously voted to welcome Las Vegas as the league's 31st franchise.
At the time, the Golden Knights were a gamble, but the bet paid off instantly. From the moment they hit the ice, the team struck a chord with the city. T-Mobile Arena sold out every game in their opening season, and the buzz wasn't just local. Visiting fans and curious newcomers helped build an atmosphere that felt electric and entirely new. And it didn't take long before the city witnessed the improbable. In their inaugural season, the Golden Knights made a stunning run all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Considering the franchise's roster was built by players overlooked by other teams, it was one of the most unlikely debuts in sports history. And the city embraced every second of it. Locals showed up with passion, and tourists filled in the rest. The entire experience felt like it was designed for Vegas, complete with pre-game shows, lights, and theatrics that only this city could pull off. This kind of entertainment was unheard of at an NHL game. So what the National Hockey League had viewed as a high-risk move turned out to be a working model. The Golden Knights proved that Vegas wasn't just capable of hosting a team, it could leverage them to reinforce the city's identity. And this was only the beginning. The year after the Golden Knights joined the NHL, the WNBA San Antonio Stars arrived, but rebranded as the Las Vegas Aces. It didn't take long for the team to become one of the league's most dominant franchises, winning back-to-back titles in 2022 and 2023, all while demonstrating how to build a professional women's sports brand in a new market. And in 2020, the NFL joined the party with the Oakland Raiders relocating to the desert, bringing one of football's most storied franchises to the Strip. Allegiant Stadium, nicknamed the Death Star, opened as a $2 billion state-of-the-art venue built to host everything from Super Bowls to concerts to sold-out Sundays in the fall. And if stadiums are your thing, you can find NFL and college football map posters and more at mapify.com. Picking one up is a great way to support the channel, so click the link in the description below to find something you like. Fast forward to today, Major League Baseball is currently next in line. The Athletics have already left Oakland and are currently playing in Sacramento until their new Las Vegas stadium opens up in 2028. Once complete, they'll become the city's fourth Major League team, and the second to relocate from Oakland. The NBA, meanwhile, remains the last holdout, but expansion talk is growing louder and louder. Whether it's a new team or a relocated one, the league's presence in Las Vegas feels like a matter of when and not if. Commissioner Adam Silver has openly named the city as a leading candidate, and with Las Vegas hosting Summer League, the in-season tournament finals, and drawing interest from figures like LeBron James, the groundwork is already being laid. But what do you think? Is Vegas truly next on the NBA's list? And if so, how long will it take before the city lands a franchise? Let me know what you think in the comments. So in well under a decade, Las Vegas transformed from a city with no big league teams to one of the most aggressively expanding sports markets in the country. Almost at a flick of a switch. But what makes Las Vegas's rise as a sports city so fascinating is that it didn't follow the traditional model. Most franchises depend on a strong local base, littered with season ticket holders, regional sponsors, and hometown media. But in Las Vegas, tourism isn't just a bonus, it's the business model. Each year, around 40 million visitors come to the city. But unlike other markets, Vegas offers an entire atmosphere of world-class entertainment. Casinos, nightlife, and now professional sports are all wrapped up into one destination. That makes attending games an even better reason to book a trip. Opposing fans circle Vegas dates on the calendar, making a single ticket a true anchor for a weekend getaway. This model lets teams succeed without leaning entirely on a local fanbase. Raiders games often have a neutral site feel, with both team supporters packing the stands. But financially, that's irrelevant. The stadium is full and the suites are accounted for. It also helps that Vegas is tailor-made for premium experiences. Luxury boxes, VIP lounges, and curated events fit right into a city built around entertaining and spending. Now, that's not to say locals aren't a priority. They're just one part of the equation. The city didn't inherit a fan base. It built one by reimagining what sports could look like in a city that sells experience over tradition. But for all of its early success, one big question mark remains. How sustainable is it in the long run? Las Vegas has always thrived by doing things differently. It's built in the middle of a desert, far from any traditional population centers, and it grew not because of natural resources, but because of its ability to attract people. But as it continues to grow, that foundation faces new pressure. Water access is becoming more complicated. Temperatures are trending higher each summer, and although the population has boomed in recent decades, there are growing conversations about how livable Las Vegas will remain as the city expands further outward. Just like how it matters in the real world, the sports world is no different. Much of Vegas' success so far has come from tourists and spectacle, but long-term stability depends on people putting down roots. If population growth slows or even reverses, some of that stability could be tested. But let me know what you think. None of this means Las Vegas is destined to falter. It's adapted before, and it will likely do so again. But it does highlight the uniqueness of what's been built, and the balancing act required to keep it going. Because building a sports empire in the desert is one thing, keeping it thriving for generations, that's a different kind of challenge. Fortunately though, things don't have to appear daunting. For instance, Vegas' reputation will always be a prime tourist destination, and shaking that off is no easy feat. Think about all the events the city hosts every day and how much it offers to tourists. That's an endless amount of sports and entertainment with plenty of tickets to sell. Which is why I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, an app I use all the time. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads and more than 70,000 events listed, from concerts and festivals to all kinds of sports. And right now is a perfect time to use it. The NFL schedule is out, which means football is just around the corner, and MLB is already in full swing. Whether you're catching a Raiders game in Vegas or heading to a ballpark near you, SeatGeek has you covered. I actually used SeatGeek recently to grab tickets for a Blue Jays game with a few friends. The whole process took just a few minutes, and I was able to see which sections offered the best deals. That's because SeatGeek rates every ticket on a scale from 1 to 10, so you always know what kind of value you're getting. Green dots mean good deals, red dots, not so much. Plus, every ticket is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee, so you can shop with confidence. And of course, there's something in it for you as well. By using the code MAPIFY2025, you get 10% off your next SeatGeek order. That's 10% off any tickets, from sports to live music and everything in between. Just click the link in the description below to download the app, and the code will automatically be added to your account. A big thank you goes to SeatGeek for supporting this channel. And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.